Hey,
Squadron 51.
Yeah. Look at it. Casey knows what's up, and he wasn't even here for the incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened before.
Kelly's filling them in. Right. Yeah.
That has happened before, but not tonight. We just had a little bit of a.
We weren't going to tell you guys, but that day that we did that on purpose, just so you guys would have something that you thought you could hold over on us for the next 17 years. Yeah. No, it did happen one time, but yeah, good memories. Good memories. That was the best show we ever did.
Yeah, and we caught it after like 15 minutes. So.
Yeah.
There's been more blunders than that, though. I remember one time, Bart has access to this stream only because he was here at my house one time and he was able to log in and give himself access to it. It's just hard to do remotely. But
Greg, you're making it sound like I snuck on your computer.
Yeah, no.
Well, Greg was sleeping.
No, it was one of those things where when he came up that time, I said, I can make you a code thing on the StreamYard, but you have to log in with your credentials. And I said, I don't feel comfortable about doing that. So I said, just go in and get on the computer. I think the rest of us are out playing pinball and log yourself in. And so it worked out. But anyway, long story short, what I'm referring to is, aside from not going live one time, there was one time Bart and I were on here. And I have to send links to Mike and Poe, and I just never sent them. And Bart and mine's phone are blowing up like, hey, where's the link? And we're like, where the hell are those guys at?
Well, I think last week it was Mike and I both were in here waiting, but we couldn't see each other since we can't run the show. So Mike sent a message, where's everyone at? And I'm like kind of sitting here in the dark too. I'm like, uh-oh. And me and Mike are totally screwed without one of you guys being here.
Now, Greg, I thought you were going to go with this Intellivision Gamer. Casey said that's better than thinking you went offline and still chatting, which could be brutal. But we never did that technically. But Greg and I one time, we were chatting to each other on StreamYard, thinking we were just chatting to each other, and somehow we went live. So we're talking about our medical issues, and we're a couple of old farts falling apart at the seams, and all. And people started typing in the chat. We're like, oh shit. But I'll tell you, for those T-Dog and Casey, that time that we thought we were live, but we weren't. It's better than you might think, because people in the chat were actually typing things that were kind of relative to what we were saying. Yeah. They had no idea. They were just chatting amongst themselves, but it fit in with what we were saying. So we thought we were live, and then pretty soon we're like, oh shit, we're not live. But it was hilarious, because more than one occasion, 2 or 3 times, we'd say something and someone would happen to say something in chat that was related to that. So we were like, what the heck?
Well, just update. Oh, go ahead, Bart.
Well, oh no, you can. I'm going to have to look this up, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just to update you, Mike's not here again tonight. I wasn't here last week. I ended up with COVID and still got it. Can't get a negative test, and it's just hanging on with me. And then I don't think Mike might be sick. Mike got sick, and I'm not for sure, but I think he tested positive for COVID too. Now, it's not like we're around each other. I mean, he's 1,500 miles away from me.
So Phil's asking if I got his last score. Phil, are you talking about your 88,654,432.009? I wasn't sure if you meant I didn't know if that was a pinball score or a Moon Patrol score, so I didn't add it to either spreadsheet. But if we can get some clarification on that, yeah, okay. Here he put it up here. Yeah, I was just looking it up on my phone and I saw it, but the .009, because some of those pinball tables will go that way, but so I wasn't sure what it was. That's a Moon Patrol. All right.
Yeah, and while you're here, Phil, I was going to tell you, I hope you got it. Of course, I've been sick, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But on the Discord, I did send you my contact information last week sometime, so maybe you just haven't had a chance to see it or know. But anyway, if there's any question or you don't have that information, just send me a message on Discord and I'll resend it. Anyway, I knew you'd wanted my contact information, so it was sent a little over a week ago before I got sick. So that's all I got. Thanks for
Greg's
watching.
had a rough week. There was a time period today where we were thinking you might be stuck with just me and Poe again.
Yeah.
So we were trying to order everybody as many barf bags as possible. Point out where people could mute the microphones, but you wouldn't want to mute the show if it's just me and Poe, because then you're stuck looking at us and you don't even get to listen to it. It's like, oh. But
well, just to let you know, though, what this thing with me has been, it's been like a terrible cold/flu. I mean, that just won't go away. And, I mean, you obviously come here to be disgusted. Otherwise, you wouldn't show up to our show. So I can tell you this right now. If you could make money off of phlegm, I'd be a millionaire right now. Because I'm telling you what, I can't believe how that much green, yellow shit can come out of your head.
The phlegm is strong with this one.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Greg's busy, and then Mike was sick. I know you were talking about Mike's been sick all week, and now he just found out. Oh, right in the middle of the show, my computer's like, "Hey, there's a Windows update. Do you want to reboot right now?"
Isn't that some irritating? I mean, and Microsoft screwed the whole country. What, a day or two ago? Shut down banking institutions, 911 centers, airlines. Yeah, and it's all and that's because nobody clicked. They wanted to do their update, and
that could be it. That's probably what it is. So I'm going to make sure to do this because
update time.
Oh yeah. No, I did find out when I went back to work yesterday that apparently the hotel systems were boogered up too because of all this. So we had issues at the hotels.
I don't know if I told you guys this story ever, but there's a bunch of us old farts that go to lunch once a week, retired firemen, and we pretty much call ahead and let them know, we got 10 to 15 people coming for lunch, and we always go to lunch at 11 o'clock, so it's typically not at your rush hour. But we went to this one place one time, and there's a catfish place, fried catfish, hush puppies, coleslaw, pretty simple, And we sat there for an hour and a half. They still hadn't brought our food. The place wasn't that busy. And we asked them finally and we got one guy that just got no filter at all. And he says, what the hell is taking so long getting our food? And he says, well, AT&T's having an outage right now in the area. He says, so your fryer's hooked up to AT&T? I mean, what kind of stupid son of a bitch do you think I am? I mean, what's that got to do with fried fish? So, it goes to show you, nowadays anything technical goes down. That's the, that's the go-to to blame it for,
I remember that day. My son and I were in the car. We were going to a new doctor of mine at the time, and I had never been there. So I tried to bring it up on the GPS after I leave the house, and I'm like, there's no GPS. There's AT&T's down. I have nothing. So now we're like the pioneers trying to find our way to the doctor's office.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it can happen, but it was just funny, I thought this buddy of mine, I thought, what, don't be so callous to this guy. And then later on, I thought, wait a second, that guy had it coming. I mean, to sit here and tell me I'm not getting my fish because AT&T, you surely don't cook that fish with your cell phone.
Right. Now, I have a restaurant story that's has nothing to do with power outage or cell phone outage, but we were on our way to Arizona Cardinals game, bunch of years back, and we stopped at a restaurant, ordered all our food. They brought out everyone's food except for mine, and I'm thinking, okay, whatever. My plate happened to be last, and then everybody was gone that works at the restaurant. Nobody came, asked if we wanted drinks. Nobody brought my food. Nothing. And about 25 minutes later, we're like, what the fuck? We got to get to the game. We're on our way to this football game. They're not going to hold off the game. So finally, we found someone. We're like, hey, what's going on? We haven't seen our waitress. We're having a whole staff meeting. Everyone in the staff is in the back. And we're like, we need to go. We need our bill. And by the way, I never got my food. And they're like, oh, so they had a staff meeting while the restaurant was open, and the entire staff went into the back and never came out and checked on the customers that were eating.
See, and I don't believe in dining and dashing, but I think that had been a case if I couldn't find anybody.
If you can't see it, sold. Yeah, that would be a time.
Similar thing. The local bar up here has a bar and grill, which I used to go up there all the time. I just don't go anymore because, you're in business to make money and collect money when you're done. And everybody ordered sandwiches and pizza they had up there and a few beers. And, getting ready to leave, can't find the waitress to pay her. And I remember I knew who the owner was. He was sitting there. Of course, the owner likes to, he's a typical bar owner that likes to enjoy his own product too much. He's half south sitting there. And I said, hey, dude, I want to pay my bill. And he goes, well, that's what I got waitresses for. And I said, well, you better get one of them. I said, hey, here's $20. Just take it. He said, no, I don't collect the money. And I said, okay. And I left.
Yeah. We were thinking, we're at that point. We got to go. We can't wait around. And I think the person we saw was just like someone who was late getting to the meeting, or they ran out to get, I don't know if there was something they were supposed to talk about in the meeting and they left it at the hostess table or something. And they weren't even coming to check on us. We just happened to see them. And we're like, hey, what the fuck? And then they're like, well, we'll put your meal in a doggy bag for you or something. We're like, I don't want it now. I already ate half of my ex-wife's food because we were to that point. We got to go. But yeah, so I think they did. I think they knocked half off of the entire bill because of the hassles. But yeah, the whole staff just left. Yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, but anyway, Chaos is in the house. King Chaos, matter of fact.
Well, I'll tell you, related to the gaming and stuff, this week I've been sick, and as I said, and I thought, you know what, though, I'm feeling a little better. Maybe doing something. They say get lots of rest, which I haven't had any trouble doing, man. I've been sleeping every day, all day. I thought I'd come down here, and I fired up the system over there. I did a whole Microsoft Flight Sim flight. Don't want to give anything away, but I flew out of Van Horn, Texas.
Wow.
I did a little reply to Bart for him coming up here to fly out of Harrisonville, and I was flying around, and I said, I think that's the building that Bart might work at, and I'm doing everything. I'm all happy. Perfect landing. Still having trouble getting that playback to work. I've figured it out a little bit. But long story short, I never hit record.
Nice.
There.
So then I thought, okay. I haven't played my Xbox in a while. It's over there in the game room. I thought I'll go over and fire that up because I'm really liking that Gears of War. And I think Mike has said that he'd played that all the way through. And of course, I've been recording that as a series, and I got to my last stop point when it was at a save point, and I started recording again. And I beat the, whatever you call it. What do you call it when you beat the guy? Every now and then you got to beat the boss or whatever. I guess that's considered their boss, the big bad guy. Every now and then you got to fight. And man, I tell you, I thought I got him. I said, well, I got him. And I went and checked my recording on the Xbox. Said it recorded the whole 40 minutes of it, me beating this boss. Of course, with the Xbox, you got to take the hard drive off and bring it in here to hook it to the computer. It's another one of those little things. It won't record anything more than 30 seconds unless you... Well, anyway, I brought it in here and I hooked it up. It says the file's corrupt. It won't play.
The file had COVID.
Yeah.
You gave your Xbox COVID.
So I just went back upstairs, grabbed my Kleenex and my vitamin C drink and my water, and sat down. And I said, Cheryl says, well, how was that today? And I said, well, I flew a perfect flight and I beat the boss in Gears of War, and neither video came out. I'm done. I ain't going back down there again.
Yeah. Now Kelly said, "Yeah, Greg, with your flight video, at least you had a fun flight though, so that's the important part. You had a good flight."
I did beat the boss in that Gears of War, and I'm telling you what, that was the toughest one I'd come across so far. Matter of fact, Travis was over here just before I got sick. The day before I got sick. Matter of fact, he hasn't got sick, so thank God for that. But anyway, he came over, and he's a young guy that plays those kind of games, and he couldn't beat that boss. So, of course, the minute I did, I called him up and I said, I got him.
Yeah. Yeah. See, now, if I have, we've all messed up videos in the past, but if I mess up 2 in a row, I'll be all upset. And I tell Kelly what happened. I say, there's only one thing that'll cure that. And I hand her knee pads. And then she'll eat. The last time she said, no, I'll tell you what, we'll do that butt stuff you've been wanting. I got all excited till she pulled the strap out. I'm like, whoa, I'll just go do another attempt at the video. It'll be fine. But it is a bummer. We record an entire video and then discover that it didn't record, or you had no audio, or
double audio. I've done that a few times.
Audio. Yeah, I just did that a couple weeks ago on our challenge. I did the whole video, and I even uploaded it and everything, and then I was watching it myself on YouTube, and it's hey, what did oh my God.
Especially when you do a good video, though. There's been ones before I think, oh, I don't care if they came out, that sucked, but it was perfect takeoff, landing. I didn't flub up my words or anything, I just thought it was great. Well, the other thing I was going to say is I did that. See, I forgot. There's some other stuff that I did this week, though, and then, I know. When I got sick, I had 2 cities left for the Nebraska event and American Truck Simulator.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I thought, don't try to record it. Don't try to do a video. Just do it. Enjoy the game, which I'm starting to find out that there's a little bit to that. I always try to do a video, give my channel another video, but I actually did the last 2 ones. I thought, just do it. And I did finish Nebraska, sicker than a dog, but I said, I'll be damned if I'm not going to get Nebraska done in time. So I did. I don't know I haven't tried to get what I'm supposed to get for doing it. I don't know.
Right. I didn't even check to see. I think everyone had to finish before we would get the award. And I haven't even checked to see if I'm sure we did if we finished, but yeah, I have a video for Monday and for Tuesday because I'm going to work tomorrow. Well, I was supposed to work tomorrow and Tuesday, and the girl that relieved me today, said she was off work on Tuesday completely. And I said, oh, well, if you're bored, you want my hours, you can have them Tuesday, and I'll just take the day off like normal. She goes, absolutely, I'd love to have some more hours. So I texted the boss. I'm like, hey, Courtney wants my hours on Tuesday, so if you don't have a problem with it. He's like, no problem. So, but I don't know if I'm going to put the video out I recorded for Tuesday, because I think I even said while I was recording it, it's a truck sim video, and I just wasn't in a really good mood when I started the thing, and then I had issues trying to get the game to start, and then I wanted to do a specific run. I couldn't find that run, so I drove to another place. I couldn't get a job there. By the time I started recording, I was like pissed off. Some lady, one of the AI cars pulled in front of me. I just shoved her off the road, didn't even stop. I'm like, And halfway through, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off in this video. People might not be having fun watching this, but who knows? People might think it's awesome because I'm in a bad mood. But I just was, I don't know. I may or may not. I might let Kelly watch it first and see if she thinks it's worthy of putting up. But
yeah, I've done that before. I can tell. I could tell the whole time I was filming, I was distracted, not happy with everything. I mean, you're right. It's so much. That's why I think I kind of enjoyed doing that last in Nebraska without worrying about the video, because I could just drive it and not.
Yeah,
do it.
And there's a difference. I don't know if you guys watched the one I did before where the traffic was slowing down and the car in front of me just brake checked me and I hit her. And then it was funny. I was goofing around. I pushed her car off the road. And then I just, I'll teach you or whatever. But I had fun with it. With this video, I was actually in a bad mood. And I think it might come through the video. Like, why the hell is he even playing? He's not. It's like, I don't know.
Now, I watched I've been watching your sim video, and I'll tell you what, I really like that truck you're in now. And I think the thing I like about it is, to me, there's not much difference in the trucks. I mean, I kind of like the style and the look of the Kenworth, but there's something about that dash. Is that a stock dash, or was that a dash that you had to get through a extra?
No, they're all stock. I'm not sure exactly how far along you're at watching. Are you talking the new ones when I'm in California?
Yeah.
Yeah, those one. That's the Freightliner Cascadia. That's just the stock dash.
Freightliner
Cascadia. You can push your button to go through the different display modes, but the basic dash layout is the same. You can just change what the little gauges say. But I like that truck a lot. And then of course it has the monster train horn, so that's pretty awesome too. It's
so it's the Freightliner Cascadia.
Yep. Yeah, and I drove that truck when I first started the game. I was driving that truck, and then I started, let's buy different trucks. And, but now I'm back to it, and it's like, I remember I like this truck a lot. So that's pretty good.
I know I'm still having trouble with my sim dashboard. With one, I was running two. I got an old phone and an old tablet, and I liked the two different dashes I had. Gave me a buttload of information. Well, one just quit working, so I reinstalled the software, reinstalled it was one of those ones you can get that are put out. Somebody in the public puts out a dashboard so you don't have to build your own. And it was working fine, and I reinstalled it. Don't know what's going on. It's just not working. So scrapping that idea. Going to try to find something different.
Yeah.
I think you can get the same thing for your flight sim now. I've even got my Steam Deck set up for flight sim, and I'm still having a heck of a time with Microsoft 2020. I'm enjoying it, but there's a lot of different settings. I had X-Plane 11 just down pat. This one here, getting it. Autopilot's a pain in the ass. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I'm using on 2020. I'm using a lot of mouse clicks now. I downloaded a sim dashboard for 2020, but my switch box that I use with the knob to actually start the aircraft, I have a knob and all the switches for the lights and just turned on the computer one day and it's dead. The computer doesn't even acknowledge it. I tried plugging it into multiple different USB ports. I've had the thing for 20 years. So, I guess I got $100 out of it, but it kind of sucks. But it was nice to reach over and just flip a lever to get the gear goes up or push a button and the lights turn off. But, yeah.
I noticed one thing I noticed that is if you start, it may do it in X-Plane 11 too. If you start the program and you don't have your throttle set to low where it's supposed to be when you start, or your mixture set where it's supposed to be, in Microsoft 2020, you started, all of a sudden I had it at full throttle. Well, it was idling when I started. And then I gave it gas to take off, and it gave it the gas, and then all of a sudden it just died. and you could see that throttle if you look down and scroll down. It was like going in and out. It's like it loses its mind.
Yeah. I use a program called SPAD, SPAD, and it handles all my controls. You can program stuff into that, and then it'll handle everything in Flight Sim. So you can change I have this throttle quadrant, right? So I have one for the throttle, one for the mixture, one for the prop, but I actually have two for each. So I can run twin engines. And when I'm flying a single engine, I have the last lever as my flap lever. So I pull the lever part way and it goes to flaps 1, flaps 2, full flaps. But you can tell it what range you want it to do and all that. So I use an external program to handle all of my controls instead of the built-in what this Flight Sim comes with. But that takes a while to set up too. But it's fairly intuitive where you can move one of the levers and then you tell it this is throttle, okay, and then you move another lever and you say this is mixture, but
Right.
Yeah, but it handles all of that stuff. You can set your buttons on your yoke and all that stuff, specific stuff if you want to, which you can do inside Microsoft too, but inside the sim, both X-Plane and Flight Sim. But yeah, it's fun, but it does cost money. I think it's $20 or $30 for that program. But because I have all my external boxes and stuff, I actually have one where I can turn my radio panel that have the physical knobs to change the radio stick channels. I can make the bottom line change work the GPS on the dash. So I can change, zoom in and out, change the modes, enter stuff in on the GPS using those knobs. Instead of having to click on the GPS, I can turn knobs and push buttons. So,
Yeah, see, I'm having trouble with. I've got it now to where I can do. I got it all on X-Plane 11, but on Microsoft Flight Sim, I can't get throttle hold. I mean, altitude hold to work. I can get it to heading hold for the bug. You can set the heading bug. I've got that where I can dial it in and do heading hold. But all the other autopilot stuff, I can't get it to do anything. It won't do an altitude hold or anything.
And some of them, depending on the aircraft you're in, some of them are tricky to get working.
Yeah.
They all have their own little quirks on how you set them and how you get them to do their stuff. And sometimes when you're on the autopilot, you're telling it to nose up or nose down. Sometimes that's just a little bump and then it levels, bump and level. And sometimes it'll keep trimming up and up and up and up and you'll end up stalling the aircraft. So it depends, which is how that YouTuber chick killed herself. She got a brand new autopilot and she didn't know how the trim worked. Her and her dad were flying that airplane and she kept hitting the nose down trim, thinking it should or correct itself, but she didn't know how the autopilot worked. And she was basically got the plane to where it dove to the point that with all her might, she couldn't pull back because now they're going too fast and they nosedived into the ground and killed themselves. Because she flew not knowing how to use her autopilot. And she was doing the settings. She had several videos before she crashed where she was trying to learn it. And people that know the system very well are like, she's doing that wrong. She needs to have an instructor or someone teach her how to use that because she's doing it completely wrong. And then she'd give up. So, well, I'll just fly without the autopilot. And then the next time she'd do it, she'd try again. She's still doing it wrong. And they said they looked at the flight profile and you could see her plane was just undulating because she couldn't get it. And then all of a sudden just straight down. And they died, her and her dad. So it is tricky. Sad. And even experienced pilots, you get a new autopilot, and these simulators nowadays, they model the one that would be in that aircraft. So you can get used to one that's on, a Cessna 172, and then you fly on a 182, it's a completely different autopilot. And then you fly with the glass cockpit, it's a completely different autopilot. And they all handle differently. So
I know in X-Plane 11, there's two different Cessnas. I know one of them, the same, both of them I think are 172s or 182s, but they have different dashboards on them. and I just can't fly that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. See, Poe's had enough of all this stim
Right.
talk. He's out. He's like, we're gonna start losing people. Me and Greg can just talk about this stuff as if. Yeah.
well, I'll just finish up with that flight sim. It's still all fun. I enjoy it. It's just what you get used to. It's kind of the same thing when people ask me about Pinup Popper versus Pinball Emporium. You know, I like the Emporium because that's what I got used to. But Pinup Popper is just as good, if not a better program. It's just what you get used to, and
yeah. And a good thing is running the flight sims is like trying to set up VPX. There's a lot of little things to do, no matter what your front end is, or just getting VPX to work. That's kind of like a flight sim, where the truck sim is like Pinball FX. You turn on the truck sim and you drive. You don't got to worry about you can still set things up, but you can get in, start the thing up. It tells you right on the screen, press E to start the engine and give it gas and go. That's why I like the truck sim sometimes, because you just turn off your brain and go, especially once you have set it up. But I was going to say we want to go into the arcade thing, but we can talk pinball while Poe's gone, because that's more of our thing. Did we want to talk about the pinball tournament?
Yeah, we should get there, because I was about ready to check out here for just a sec, take myself off screen just so you wouldn't have to watch. I get these coughing fits. And it's scary. It's not scary to the point where I'm telling you I'm not gonna die from this.
Right.
But it is scary because you get to coughing so much that you can't bring air back in. And it's like all of a sudden, like especially at night, middle of the night, I'll just kind of panic, like
right. Yeah. You can't catch your breath.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll pull up the pinball spreadsheets, and I can go over the score from this last week, and we'll talk about that. Let me get this pulled up and go into sharing.
Go ahead and take that over.
Right.
I'll be back in a minute.
Okie doke. All right, so this week we played the Mandalorian pinball on Pinball FX. This is the final week of the big 5-week tournament, and we'll get into how the playoffs are going to work when Greg's back and we're doing some stuff. But we'll just go over this. Ed, Digital Victory, jumped in again with a big victory, $82 million, which is crazy because I checked the scores at one point and he was below my score. And then all of a sudden, kabow. That's Ed for you. Look at big T-Dog. T-Dog, Biolumin, $59,343,513. Oh, look. See, as soon as we put his score up, then suddenly Ed shows up in the chat. I see how he is. GTH 2370, also known as DKong52, if you're in our Discord, that's him, with the $53 million for third place. Classic Rock had 42.7. I came in at 32.8. Derek with the 25.9. Poe with 21.8. And Greg had 13.2. Mike was unable to play. He was sick all week.
So was I. That's no excuse. That's no excuse, Mike.
And if you look at this right here, you can tell Greg played like he was sick. Not necessarily that it's just based on the score, but because both Derek and Poe beat you, Greg, that's a sign that you were sick. That must be it.
It was a good score. Yes.
T-Dog was winning for a long time. T-Dog was up there, and I thought he had it. And then all of a sudden, Ed just snatched that from him. Just snatched it at the last second. We've been there, though. We've all been there. Poe does that on the arcade and console challenges. You'll think you're winning, and all of a sudden, see what happens? You put Ed's big score up there. That's all it takes. You put Ed's score up there.
Well, you put Ed's score up there, and then next thing you know, he shows up.
He shows up. Hey, Ed, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? I had something go off in my head, an alarm, and it was like, oh, they're talking about your score. quick, let me jump in.
Ed, you are T-Dog's least favorite person right now because he'd been working his way up, and he was up there at the top of this one until you threw out a miracle game there. 82 million, right? I
was floating around the 30s and stuff for a while, or 28s, and all of a sudden just had one of those games.
Yeah, because I wasn't lying. I checked the scores at one point. I think when I played my game, it was just me and Greg had played at that point. And then when I checked later, you were on the board, but you were below my score. And I'm like, hey, all right, I'm above Ed. This is cool. And then the next time I saw it, you had 82. I'm like, what just happened? And I'm sure it wasn't as bad for me as it was for T-Dog because he's been working his way up there. But yeah.
All right, T-Dog. My bad.
Yeah.
And it was nothing with T-Dog at all. Of course, it's always personal with Bart. I was trying my very best to beat his score, and it just kept going. You know,
at some point, Ed probably went from beating my score to, I can double it. And then at 82 million, you were bummed that you didn't triple my score because then you could have really let me have it. But, yeah.
Yep.
But, that's one of those things that happens. Yeah. DCOM says, great game, Ed. Great game. Great game. And that was
even the sun shines on, all that kind of stuff. One of those.
Right. Because there's a lot of times where, I'll have better high scores than what I can do in the tournament because you don't play well. But beat that score that you put up is better than I've ever scored at the Mandalorian table. So you beat my best score ever. So I can't.
It's kind of weird. Like something kind of clicked with, the game, I don't even know what it is. I wish I could say, well, it's this, but I can't. But there was something that clicked, and it just,
I know what you're saying about that click thing because there's been games I've played, and I tend to when I'm getting into that mode of wanting to increase my score. I'm starting to really pay attention and restart the game right away, and then all of a sudden you get that one round that you think
one ball even.
Yeah, how the heck? Yeah, well, that's the irritating one. You get that first ball, and it doesn't drain, and you're getting multi-balls, and you're hitting everything you're supposed to hit, and then you finally lose that ball, and you think, well, hell, man, I'm one ball down, but I'm 90% the way there, and then ball 2 and 3, boom, right down the drain. It's like
I've had videos like that on my channel where I get all excited after the first ball because you just go crazy and the next two drain in like 10 seconds, and that's pinball, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give T-Dog some advice here because he said he'd rather lose to Mr. Poe style. Really the only way, if you want to lose to Poe, the only way to be sure that'll happen is to avoid your flipper buttons. Just launch the ball and let it drain because if you flip even once, you may end up beating Poe. Oh, wait. Oh, we didn't know you were back. Oh, sorry.
I went to bed, but then I saw Ed came on. I'm like, okay, I'll go back on the show.
Yeah, man. Like 20 minutes ago, and then Ed comes in and Paul's like, all right, now we have a show worthy of Mike being here.
Hey, well, we quit talking about flight simulators and truck simulators.
Yeah, I love Flight Sim. Like I said, I played the Microsoft version, Microsoft 20, a lot, and haven't got the new one, 24 yet. Probably won't, but 20's great.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll get 2024 until maybe 2028. I'll buy it when it's on sale on Steam for $18.
Now, Ed, what do you play on? What do you use? A PC?
I play on this PC back here. I used to play it here, but something happened and it wouldn't work anymore. And just then our old one died there, so I got a new one there, and lo and behold, there was a sale on a gaming PC. I just replaced it was kind of the house PC that we did stuff on, but I replaced it with a gaming one and threw Steam on there, and it worked perfect on there. And I got a very fancy control setup that I use. One joystick. That's it. I would love to get pedals and a yoke and all that, but just, money, time, priorities. So.
Yeah. Well, you just need to do like I do, Ed, and figure out a way to go back 25 years ago and buy yourself a yoke. Because I have all these goodies and toys to fly with, but I bought them years and years ago, and
they still work.
Yeah, it's like, I got a yoke, the pedals, the button box the switch panel did die on me like 3 weeks ago. But the radio panel, 2 different yokes. So I have 6 levers total.
You got the whole setup, man.
That took me like 2 years to put it all together because I'd buy, you spend 150 on the yoke, then I wait 6 months and then pay 150 for pedals 25 years ago. So that's a good chunk of change, and the switch panel was $100. And then, so I trickled it in, and 20 years later, it looks like I'm all set up. But nowadays though, they got force feedback yokes. They got stuff that puts this stuff to shame.
If I win the lotto, I'm going to have a whole enclosed setup with multiple large screens. And unfortunately, D-Kong, I can't play on the ALP. I've tried. The damn flipper buttons, all they do is control the rudders, and it doesn't work. I can't land. So
that's funny. But,
the reason I asked that question is I've been playing on the PC, of course, and matter of fact, I set up a second PC just because I'm too lazy. This one's for driving. It's got the steering wheel here. And then back behind me is another PC with the yoke on it. So if I want to fly, I go to that PC, and if I want to drive, I go to this.
You see, Greg, this is why the terrorists hate us. That's just great.
Yeah. I don't know, Greg. You still do all that rolling across the flight yoke, steering wheel. Two different, but I don't even have to roll. I can drive them both at once if I need to. Look at that. I can turn off my camera, apparently.
You're a man of many talents.
But I cannot play Pinball FX and leave this yoke plugged in. If I have the yoke plugged, only with Pinball FX, nothing else gets affected. But in Pinball FX, it sends the mouse up to the top left corner of the playfield. And if I move the mouse, just whoop, whoop. But if I unplug the yoke, it works fine.
I would pay money to see you configure it to control the flippers and watch you just.
It's the strangest thing. It never did it until about a month ago.
That is weird.
It used to be if I turned off shut the PC off, which I used to never turn my PC off. I put it to sleep or whatever. I'd never shut them off. Now I do because I live on batteries, so I can't just leave stuff hibernate. I have to shut it off. But all of a sudden, at the same time when this started doing it, when I turn on the PC now, the force feedback steering wheel does its thing where it spins all the way around, and it never used to do that. So something got changed with my USB settings or something.
You broke it. That's all.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird. And
Mr. Postile, do you do any flight sim stuff?
No, nothing cool yet. Maybe one day. My son has a nice gaming computer. When he left for basic training, he said I could use it, but I haven't touched it yet. I know I'll end up breaking the thing for the kid.
You can
How
fly
much did you break growing up, though? That's okay.
You can fly Microsoft Flight Sim Pro using your ROG Ally, and you don't even have to download it. Didn't you get that Xbox?
Xbox Live.
Yeah, if you got that when you got the ROG, I think, or hopefully you did.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, you don't even have to download that whole 150 gigabyte. You just download a small portion of it, and you can actually fly Microsoft Flight Sim on the ROG Ally. And that's what I was getting ready to tell Ed. I've done it on that, and I've actually done it on my Xbox, which is with an Xbox controller is a pain in the backside, but it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I was able to do it.
all right. Do we want to talk about where we're sitting with the 5 weeker?
Yeah, we better finish up that because we kind of got real quick. Bart just showed you all the scores. What we're going to do is just like we did when we did the tournament 10 weeks. This time we decided to do it for 5 because we're lazy. But we are taking this week off. That is so we know now where everybody's placed. Do you have a sheet that shows the? There it is. So let's see. The top scoring one is D-Kong. Off-grid doesn't count. Off-grid and I are out. So it looks like Classic Rock King, Digital Victory, T-Dog. Hell, I mean, everybody's pretty much in it.
Oh, Mike and Derek. Yeah, so we'll have to figure out the divisions. Yeah, me and Greg are out. I just left my name on there because I did come in second overall. So, yay me. Look at Ed. He takes a week off, takes a week off. That's okay. I'll catch right back up. Which is the beauty of this point system. You don't have to play every week to get up in the scores. And T-Dog, who he was hanging out down here, outside of the top 3. He was in 4th a couple of times in there, and then he gets a 2nd place and jumps him right up to 7 points. So there you go, T-Dog. You did beat Poe.
I'm sorry I missed the first few weeks.
Yeah,
Jeez.
we're not, because we see your scores, so we're kind of glad. But that's.
But what we're gonna do next is next week is when you need to tune in, and we will start the playoffs. And what we're gonna do is, oh shoot, I don't remember how we did it last time, Bart. I know I could remember if I was feeling better, but I think we divided it up into 2 different groups, and we picked the same game, and it's gonna be tough. We've decided in order to make it where it's anybody's game, because, some people just run off with the scores, and rightfully so. That's okay. There's people that are really good, but we want to make sure everybody's got a chance at and we're not giving away anything except the trophy this year. But long story short, we're going to make it so if a guy drains, he's out. I mean, maybe 1 ball, 1 try, and it's anybody's game at that point. So all the people that are going to go to the finale might play a 1 ball, 1 try. I don't know. Bart and I will get together on that. We'll let you know next week. And we'll probably do 2 weeks worth of playoffs to where we end up getting the top 2 guys playing against each other, which is what we've done in the past. That's always been fun.
Fishtails, 1 ball, 1 try.
Right.
The high score was 27.
Fishtail sucks.
T-Dog said he had a whole big speech planned and everything.
Keep that speech, man. Keep it. You don't know what's going to happen.
Ticker tape.
That's the thing, T-Dog guy. You're kind of like the guy that's passing the other dude on the highway as fast as you can, but we all ended up at the stoplight at the same exact time. We're all making it to the playoffs. So.
That's right. Right. Yeah. So, he says it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's all fun.
Likewise.
It's all fun. But so we'll probably have a list next week, and we'll have probably like we did last time. We'll have 2 groups and then we'll work it down to where the top 2 winners of the 2 groups play each other. So,
and was it last time or time before last that Champagne Room won it, and he actually went live.
Yeah, he played his game live he streamed it live while he was playing. And he knew the score he had to beat, and it wasn't a bad score that he had to beat. So all the pressure was on him. And it's funny because he won almost every week. He was a strong player that whole time. But you could see it when you tuned into the live stream before he started playing. He was nervous because it was 1 ball, 1 attempt. And so he was like, he knew what he wanted to do. And he's like, if I can just get these 2 shots, I got a really good chance. And but he was sweating. We're like, dude, you've won every week almost. You are the dominant. Relax, just play. But it was fun. It was fun.
He did take down Balls of Slapping, who had won 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, he won 2 in a row. Yeah, Derek, even Poe can win. In theory, we're not saying it's impossible, but so it'll be good. But we have. It looks like there's going to be 7 in it, so we'll have to figure out exactly how we want to do it. But and like Greg said, we've always taken a week off between the 2, but we usually had 10 weeks, but I've been busy this week. Greg's been sick, so we really didn't have time to put anything together this week anyway. But this is a good time to reset. And we do have to figure out the tables yet and exactly how we're going to do it. So next week we'll announce that.
What I really like about this whole thing is that it's forcing me to play some really cool tables that I just never really got into or played before. I checked them out and they worked, and that was cool. but I really am enjoying this and really kind of appreciating on a whole new level Pinball FX. It's because I play so much DPX, on the thing, and I tend to ignore that. And I think it's a great game, Pinball FX. The way they got the room set up and the selections and the tables, I think are really high quality. So I'm enjoying it.
I think they do a great job. Now, and we'll get back to the chat here, but along that lines, Ed, and I know you haven't really, and I don't know how much gaming you do with console gamings and arcade gamings, but it's the same thing we've been saying with these arcade challenges we've been doing and the console challenges. These are games that especially the consoles, and almost every week, Poe picks a console or Michael pick it, and Greg's picked a couple. I never pick them because I don't know anything about the old console. So I'm playing games I've never even seen before. And I'm like, I think I heard of this, and then I'll, if I'm lucky, I'll see Poe's video before I do my video, so I at least know what the game looks like. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to record it. First time I've ever played it. Let's go. Let's do this.
Oh,
and I'm playing games I've never played. Or some of these arcade challenges, it's like, well, yeah, I've heard of it. Like this week's was Moon Patrol. I've played Moon Patrol.
Yeah.
Everybody's played. But now this week we've been playing the hell out of Moon Patrol, and we're having a good time with it. It's like, wow, this game is fun. It's hard all of a sudden. It's way harder than it should be, but maybe it's 55. I don't know. But it is nice to revisit things like you're saying with pinball. There are games that we've played in the past, and you just kind of forget about it, and all of a sudden, hey, we have a reason to play this now. And,
absolutely. I haven't jumped into the arcade stuff that you guys do, but I'd like to for that reason. And it's okay to use emulators, right? You're allowed to?
Yeah. Well, that's all we use. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
That's all some of us use. Poe has like all these, any Atari game you mentioned, he'll pull it out of his ass right now. He has a mound of Atari games that surround him.
Wow.
And you'll pick some obscure Atari game. He's like, oh, this one? Yeah.
Like when you guys play Spider Fighter or something like that?
Yeah, we did play Spider Fighter.
Spider Fighter.
There it is. Yeah.
He pulled it right out of his hat, man.
Yeah, but the people that have the consoles, they will play on the consoles. Yeah. Poe even played that Spider Fighter, right? You were playing with the old Atari.
Joystick. Oh yeah.
And so I felt like I cheated, even though my scores didn't reflect it. But I'm using an Xbox controller to play it, kind of riding in style. It's like a Cadillac compared to Poe using that old. But but emulation's fine. I have a Raspberry Pi, and I just threw every Atari, every NES game on there. So whatever they pick,
nice. Yep.
I can find it. And then, of course, arcade games we're all playing on MAME. So we tell people if you happen to have a full size arcade Dig Dug machine on our week, go ahead and play on it. But the rest of us are using MAME. So,
but what did you guys using your II arcade on some of these?
Yeah, almost all of the arcade games I'm playing on the II arcade. Oh, yeah.
Are those cracked and broken? Do you have like full emulation on that with like thousands of games, or? You
can, yeah. And people have cracked it and put entire sets of Atari 2600 games. Poe and I are kind of purists. We don't put. I think Poe broke down and put a couple of his favorites on there, maybe. But we've been pretty. Yes, they put they cracked it, and you can put MAME on it, and you can basically use it as a multicade and install any arcade game for that version of MAME. It doesn't. You can't just. There are some games that it won't handle, but all of that classic stuff you can download, and people will make the splash screen with the control layouts and all that stuff. And
sweet.
And it's pretty nice. And Poe and I both have Blends deck, so it's so awesome. You'd love it because you have an 8-way joystick, and then you push a button, and it automatically, and it's a 4-way now. It changed the gating on it. And then it has a spinner. And it has a trackball. Yeah, and Poe and I are timing this out. One of these weeks, we're going to make the challenge for money, and then we're going to pick a spinner game because most people don't have
Legends has a spinner.
Yeah. So, but it is nice. But I can do that. T-Dog brought up a good thing. Don't turn off your crossplay in Pinball FX. His got turned off, and he's like, "There's no tournaments. I can't find it. Where's the tournament?" And we're like, "It should be there." Let's see.
Hey, Derek. Yeah, I don't know what RetroBat is. I haven't tried that.
Yeah, I don't know.
RetroBat, yeah.
Kelly's at Ed. Did you lose weight?
Hey, right on, Kelly. I did indeed.
I noticed that right off the bat, but I didn't want to say anything because I thought, man, he looks slimmer.
I thought you
Try, man. Got another 14 to go. Is my goal.
Nice, nice. Looking good. Looking good.
Thanks, bud.
Let's see. Casey says, "Beat him and eat him." Maybe someday. Pull that out, Poe. Pull out the beat him and eat him.
Yeah, you're talking about playing that emulation on there. You know, I never even thought about this. I got a Raspberry Pi that I played on. I've been playing these games handheld on that ROG Alley because, you know, I've got that Retro Arch actually is on Steam, and you can – it's kind of wild. Steam actually provides Retro Arch for free. You just got to put in your own ROMs so you can play it on Steam.
Yeah.
But I never thought about, you know, that's one thing, the At Games Legends Ultimate cabinet I've got, it's got a port, and I've got an extra Raspberry Pi. I can actually hook a Raspberry Pi up to that At Games Ultimate, and it will play those games on that. Yeah.
I've heard you mention that a couple times now, Greg. ROG Galley, I don't know what that is either. I'm way behind the times on this stuff. What is that?
Oh, Poe, do you got yours nearby?
Mine's in my living room right now.
It's similar to like a Steam Deck, right?
It basically is. It's a handheld PC made for gaming. And matter of fact, I do got to take a quick break because I got to get another drink. I'll go get it and bring it back down here to do a little show and tell. I'll be back in just.
Yeah.
I got to go have another coughing fit anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, and actually I had a couple of the NES challenges. I think it was NES, right, Poe? When we found that they were on the Switch, the Nintendo's, you can see the old emulation game. What do they call that, Poe?
They do the Nintendo Switch Online. You have the NES, SNES.
Yeah, so
but there's also they have some of the arcade classics too on there, but you have to buy those. That's Arcade Archives. Moon Patrol was on there.
Right.
Yeah. So emulation is definitely fully legal. The only thing we ask, you know, if we're playing like Moon Patrol, it was the arcade this week, so don't play the NES version or don't play the arcade version. If we're doing an NES game, play the NES version. Don't play, you know. Other than that, how you play the NES, however you want, whatever controller you got, whatever. And Poe likes to pick on people because there's only a handful of us that make videos, but and we like to watch people's video attempts, so those are fun. But just take a picture of the score, and make sure you're in the one-up thing. We're not looking for your all-time high score. Make sure you take a picture of the screen and you're on that play score. Right. Posted in the Discord. Yeah, and it's pretty fun, and there's no prizes. There's no, you know, like the pinball tournament. Greg is going to supply another trophy for the winner this year, so there will be another trophy. But all these arcade challenges, they're just for fun. They're for bragging rights. They're for Poe to just take another picture where he's flipping off the screen. That's all it's about. You know, it's just for fun. And if you want to cheat and Photoshop someone else's score in, good for you. There's no point. It's just a bunch of guys playing an arcade game. No one's going to think you're the most coolest person ever. So it's all honor system, but we do enjoy it. We do encourage. Casey, the Intellivision Gamer, he did a video on a couple of these games, and I love watching them, especially for our challenges. It's always nice. Retro Blitz Gaming, he goes live every day. Usually it's around 11 o'clock my time, and he'll do one of his during the week. He'll do our challenge live, and that's always fun. And
is he on Twitch?
No, he's on YouTube.
Okay.
I think you can find. I'm pretty sure, and if I don't, sorry, Phil, if you're still watching. I think I have a link to Phil's channel on all of my videos in my description. If I don't, I'll put it on there, but I'm pretty sure I do. But Retro Blitz
Great
and yeah, he was getting frustrated with the Moon Patrol for a while, but then all of a sudden he kind of came into it near the end of his video, and then apparently he got 88,349,612.009. He lost the picture somehow. But we would have gave him the all-time winner with that .009 point. But since we're talking about it, let me go ahead and pull that up. The Moon Patrol. Let's see. There he is, Casey, the Intellivision gamer.
Wow.
Nice.
Poe was ahead of Casey. Poe's score there 53,450. For a while there, Casey's score was 53,430. Poe was 12 points ahead of him. And then Casey said, I can't have this. I got
Damn.
And then I don't know how I held on to third in there, 28-9. Robbie is the Intellivision Gamer's 11-year-old son was next, and he has since become a big fan of the Moon Patrol.
Oh, man, I love that.
He's been playing it on a console. He made a Lego version of the Moon Patrol buggy.
Wow.
Dude's on
That's
fire.
cool.
Then
I love that.
I still have Retro Bliss Gaming's old score. I didn't get the 88 million.09 somehow. Greg had 21 million. Greg was on top of this one for a while. He was feeling confident, much like T-Dog did in the pinball. And then he ended up down here. Derek with the 8,900. T-Dog was at 8,400. He thought he had the bottom line up. And then look at Arlene, 8 years old, never played Moon Patrol before.
That's fantastic.
And she threw down a score. And it's still,
she'll be at the top.
Arlene still scored higher than both Digital Victory and the Gaming Road Warrior. So you're in good company, Ed, that you didn't play, because neither did Mike. But I don't know if you saw the beginning. Mike has COVID as well, so he's not feeling so well. That's why he's not here.
Oh man!
But look, we start talking about the Gaming Road Warrior, and Poe just leaves. He's had it. That's why Mike's not here. Poe doesn't like him anymore. But and it is so fun doing these challenges. An old game. We've all played Moon Patrol back in the day, and here we are all competing again, and the scores are just people beating each other, and it's just incredible. We figured out when you're playing Moon Patrol, if you shoot the rocks, you get 80 points. Or 100 points. If you jump over them, you get 80. So when Poe was only 20 points ahead, all he had to do was shoot one that he jumped, and he would have tied it. Oh, there you go. There's that raw galley. Or however you say it.
Now, you're saying raw galley, the two words raw and galley? Is that what that is?
Well, what it is it's an Asus product. And Asus is put out, it's kind of like General Motors putting out Chevys or Buicks.
Oh, okay.
Asus has a brand called Republic of Gaming.
Oh.
And so it's a raw ROG. And I don't know where they get the ALLY. So it's because I noticed there's other gaming computers that are called ROG.
Yeah.
But this is their handheld version. You can see it's right now it's in game mode. I can switch it back over to where it's just a PC. I can actually set up this show.
Wow.
I can actually shoot a video of me playing one of these games on here, store the video on here, edit it with video editing software, and upload it to YouTube.
Holy crap! All on that one unit.
Yeah. Now it's got some little. I told everybody when I first got it, it's got some little glitchy things about it that are annoying.
Yeah.
But all in all, I've learned how to do a lot of things with it, and I'm enjoying it. And the price point went way down at Sam's Club, and it just got to the point where I was there with my wife, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to have one of those." She does what she does best. She says, "Well, you ought to get one, man." And I'm like, I just didn't even waste a second. I just bought one. So.
Wow.
Well, in all fairness, that particular unit that Greg's holding there, 97.34% of the glitches are the guy holding it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. A lot of it has to do with that. But
That's
the
pretty
thing that's
slick.
cool, you can dock it. It doesn't come like the Switch does with a dock. You got to buy a part from Amazon for like, I don't know, what was it, Poe? $20-$30? Was it even that much?
Yeah, I don't remember now. Well, you guys gave me that 3D printed dock, and then I bought that adapter. I think it was around 30, maybe 25.
Yeah, but see, then they did have a 3D printed dock that you could do, and when I saw that on the 3D print side, it says buy this particular docking device from Amazon, and our dock will fit with that. So I didn't go to trouble to bring it down, but it's really slick because the piece from Amazon snaps into that, and it plugs into this thing, and now you use an Xbox controller, and I got it going on my 65-inch TV in the living room.
Wow, that is really slick. That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
I think the price point's right at $375, something like that. I don't know. I guess I can't remember.
Very reasonable.
Yeah. And then Ed, just to make you feel better, Greg over there and Derek, Derek chipped into. They bought Poe one of those. They bought Poe, and all Greg ever gave me was the high score on his Galaga machine.
Yes, you know where you stand, huh?
I mean, I kind of had to just take that. I don't know if he meant to give it to me, but
What was
No.
that score? Do you remember?
what's that?
What was
the
that
score
score?
on that? Oh, I don't know. What did I get? Do you remember, Greg? What's the score on that Galaga? On
No, because I quit turning the son of a bitch on. Every time I turned it on my car, I'd see this OGA on the top of the score thing. I just unplugged it. I said, I'm not.
I love Galaga, but I suck at it, man.
Yeah. No,
No,
I'm just usually not all that good, but I had a good game at Greg's house. He has a bar top unit sitting on top of his thing. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me play a game. And I said the high score.
Fantastic.
That was the day that he told us we had to leave. He's like, Kelly can stay. And I said, but she beat the score on Stranger Things. He goes, yeah, fuck her. Get out too.
Yeah, get out.
Take your little dwarf and get back in your car. And I thought, well, that's a little harsh.
Fantastic.
the story behind the one for Poe, though, was pretty good. And I give my wife, the only one of you that's met my wife is Bart. And he'll tell you, just like Kelly, Kelly is the most amazing woman I've ever met, Bart's wife. And my wife Cheryl is the same way. And when I got this Raw Alley, the first thing I did was I brought it on the show and showed it to everybody. And I was telling everybody what good price point they had. I don't know, somehow it came up, oh, you're going to give one away? You know, ha, 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 ha. Well, the wife and I went back to Sam's Club. They were having, the first thing that happened with these is Sam's Club had them, and they had them marked down, but they didn't have any. And then we went back, and they marked them down again, but they didn't have any. So I asked the manager there, I said, this is really a great price on these. You keep reducing the price. You don't have any. Well, you're idiots. The next thing you know, my son lives over on the other side of town, and he was out of town on a vacation, so we told him to go by and check on his cats and stuff. Well, there's a Sam's Club over there. Well, they had a ton of them. So I was telling Cheryl, we were standing there in the aisle in the middle of it. I said, you know, I'd like to give one of these to Poe. I just think, I don't know why, for some reason, I just thought Poe would get a kick out of it because he told me he's not into handheld gaming, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to force this guy to play some.
Now he is. I love it.
And when I was just thinking, my wife said, I was thinking the wife would say, well, you know, I like Poe too, because my wife does. She watches Poe, and she says, but this time she just looked at me. She says, well, get it then. You got his address? And I said, well, yeah, I can get it. And she says, well, then get it and ship it to him. She said, that'll be fun. So again, I didn't waste two steps. I mean, you know, I said,
Wow.
yes, ma'am. You know, you say that's okay. So, so then it was waiting. I had a tracking number on it, and it said it had got to Poe's house. But we got a little chat group going on. I don't see him saying nothing about something came. But finally, I got this text messaging thing on my phone where I can change my phone number. So and I just sent Poe a text saying, "This is the U.S. Postal Service. An important package has arrived on your porch. Maybe you might go out and check on it or something." The next thing I know, Poe's like, "Man, I can't believe what came in the mail." You know, I'm like, Jesus, man, what's it take to get him to go check his mailbox?
See,
awesome.
I tried to be helpful in this deal because Greg told me he was getting this thing for Poe, and he said he needed his address. So I told him 1805 Frontage Road, Van Horn, Texas. But somehow he mailed it to Pennsylvania anyway.
What's your address, Bart?
Yeah.
Well, I gotta mention.
What's your address?
It could be that. I don't know.
I'm on the
But I guess before I finish, though, I do want to point out, I got to give credit where credit's due. I did mention this in, I think it was in the Discord or somewhere where I knew Poe couldn't see it. It was private. And I said, I was thinking about doing it. And Derek did jump right in on it. He says, "Hey, man, if you get that for Poe," he says, this was before I told Cheryl, I said, another guy's offered, to help out on it. He's able to. And so Derek did Derek did pitch in on it. So
Derek, that was in the private chat with. So I knew Derek was going to chip in. And,
that's
and Cheryl, that's awesome, Cheryl, because that's the same deal when a couple years ago whenever that was, when we bought Mike Gaming Road Warrior, we got him a Quest because we all had Quests and Mike didn't have one. And I mentioned to Kelly, I said, I'm thinking maybe we could gift Mike, it's his birthday or whatever, let's get him a Quest 3, just kind of testing the waters. And she's like, okay, it's in the Amazon box, get his address.
Wow.
Just before I finished it, she went, looked it up, put it on her list and said, get his address and we'll just have it shipped direct drop ship.
Well, what a great group of folks. And for Derek to jump in and
Derek
volunteer help like that,
especially
not at all what Bart used to say about you. So I'm really happy about that, Derek. That's great.
And it's the same way at my house. Whenever I wanted to buy that controller for Bart, I did it and didn't tell my wife. And when she looked at the bank account, she said, "What's this controller going to Texas?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Bart's birthday." And said, "Screw them ping pong guys. Stop wasting our money."
Well, I got to confess, too, part of the idea of getting this for Poe was I knew that Bart had done that generous thing toward Mike, and it was kind of hard to decide. I just knew Bart had been generous and did that for Mike, and I thought this would be fun to do. And I thought, screw Bart, his initials are still on my bar out here. He ain't getting it.
Right. No, I just thought it was so funny because you guys were talking about it in that Discord chat about sending that, and I was privy to that. And like at that same day, Poe was just in our private chat saying, "Derek is such a dick. I can't stand that asshole. Can we get rid of him?" And
I do remember Poe saying that. Yeah, actually.
We're like, we have to keep him, Poe. He runs the Discord. We have to keep him around. He's like, fuck that. We don't even need Discord. If we can get rid of Derek Daddy. Then all of a sudden this showed up and he found out Derek put some money on it. And he's like, God darn it. Please don't tell Derek. So I'm glad Derek's not watching so he can't hear any of this. Oh, wait, no. He's cool with it. Look, that's awesome. That's awesome, he says. That's awesome.
But real quick, just to finish up on this thing, the cool features I like about it, you can load anything a PC can. I got Epic Games on here. I got Steam on here. Again, Steam has got that retro arch. I could have put CoinOps on here, but it takes up so much room.
Wow.
That's the only other thing. It's
the two main things I have on mine, I haven't figured it out yet, but I have porno on there and now a virus. So, but I'll get more games.
Yeah.
Well, that's not your fault, Poe, because I keep talking about the porn hubs blocked in Texas. So you just have to test it every once in a while. See if Pennsylvania's still there. So,
but it also came with 90 days of Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, and you can, again, it's only got 1 terabyte of space in it. Now you can, if you want to crack the case open, it's just one of those M2.
Yeah.
But it does have an expansion port, and I did buy a 1 terabyte SD card to go in. So now it's capable of 2 terabytes, which
that isn't
much though. 2 terabytes is not much space nowadays with these games.
It really isn't.
Hey, not to derail the conversation here, but Mike Scamigala, he's a busy night. He just popped in, so I want to say hi to him before he goes. And he made a comment. Mike looks awful white today because Mike does have a deeper tan than you, Ed. So I'm guessing that's the reference to make. Mike, I don't know if you know Ed, the Digital Victory here. Ed has an amazing pinball channel. He talks about he will teach you how to play pinball. If you don't know how to play a game, and he has a video on it, definitely worth a watch. Mike's Gaming Galley, he was YouTuber of the Year, right? And he has a channel. He talks about a lot of homebrew stuff, and he has an awesome, funny guy. We've had him on our show a couple times. He's on a lot with Retro Bliss, but we won't hold that against him. It's funny when he's on there and Poe's on there, because Bliss he tries to keep his show PG and keep it calm, and you can actually watch it live. Mike's Gaming Galley setting these things up for Poe to just say something raunchy, knowing he can't do it. you can watch it. Sweat.
Pretty sure I'll be on that Bliss's show this Tuesday night. So with Mike and Brian from BD Retro Barn.
Yeah. So
that's great. I just subbed. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So you guys are both great guys. Mike's a great guy. Ed's a great guy, definitely. And if you like watching pinball stuff and learning how to play the games and stuff, Ed has the best channel for that I've ever seen.
Awesome. Thanks, Bart.
Yeah.
Good content. Good content.
Just send the check to the normal place, Ed. Just send me the check to the normal.
Yeah. All right.
No, in all seriousness, and we're friends. I'm not gonna lie. I like Ed. We've known each other for a while now. We talk away from the shows and all that stuff. We're friends anyway. So, but I'm not biased. I say it because it's true. Yeah. Are we gonna bring him up again? We didn't bring up that he beat your score, so I don't know what you're crying about.
P-Dog, not too nice, P-Dog.
The other thing that Ed and I have got in common, though, is Ed and I have spent countless. One night we spent a whole evening on the phone just talking about Chihuahuas.
Oh, yeah.
And Bart's a Chihuahua owner. And you still got a Chihuahua, don't you? I know the one poor one passed away.
Yeah, I still have one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
yeah.
As a matter of fact, I came up. I was going to bring Betty down here with me, but she was up there sleeping with Mom when I walked by. She had her 1-year birthday the other day. So
yeah,
nice.
You guys had a party, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, if it weren't for the COVID, we actually did have people invited. Matter of fact, one of my fireman friends even was going to borrow a dog from somebody to bring to the party. He wanted to come so bad, and we had to call everybody and say, "Well, unless you want COVID, you better not come to the party." So it was just
that's all my
always
in-laws.
post great pictures, and I'm always sharing them with my wife. She always gets a kick out of her.
Yeah, there's always good Betty pictures on Facebook.
I sent Ed a little meme thing that I saw the other day. I sent it to Ed. I thought of him right away. I was going to send it to you, Greg, but then I remembered I don't like you that well. But it said something like, what are the top 14 breeds of dog that are the most aggressive? And then like 14 is there, and then it says there is no such thing as a bad dog, just bad owners. #1 Chihuahuas. It's like,
you know what else is known, and this shocked me. I was reading up on that, and you are 100% correct. Chihuahuas, they're very loving, but also I'll tell you what, they're a son of a gun to train. I mean, these guys, they just look at you when you tell it. I got her trained on all kinds of stuff if she wants to. But for the most part, she'll look at me and say, "No comprende inglés." I know. But you know what dog rates up there as far as mean with Chihuahuas, and I wouldn't even thought this. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Dachshunds.
Ooh, really?
Dachshunds are known for they're known for being ornery little buttholes.
We had one for years, but she was nice and calm. But being in Pennsylvania, and she sat so low to the ground. If it rained or snowed, which it does here a lot, she didn't want to go. You had to force her out there to go. And when she came back in, she would roll herself up in a blanket and sit on the heating register on the floor. She just wanted to be hot all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the funniest things when we had the Chihuahua we lost last year, Bear. Awesome dog. And he lived all of his life in Arkansas, where you'd get a little bit of snow, but not a lot. And then when we were up in the mountains of Colorado one night, we got like 1.5 feet of snow, 2 feet of snow. And I opened the door to the motorhome, and he just thought, okay, I'll jump out and just under the snow. Like, where are you at, buddy?
So I gotta share a quick Chihuahua story. I'm Chihuahua guy big time. My wife and I, we love our Chihuahuas. We've had 5. We have 2 now. We've had 3 that have.
And I'll back that up because he actually talked to me before I got Betty. And if it wasn't for Ed, I was wavering. I did go get him. Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, so anyway, took my 2 Chihuahuas on a walk with my son and his dog, and I got one of those leashes that you have a handle on a plastic kind of dispenser thing, and the leash slides out of it. I don't know if you know what those are called. I don't. But I was using that to walk the dog, and that's our little honorary guy, Kobe. He tends to be, but whatever, that's fine. So Milo, the other one, had to do his thing. So I pulled out a plastic bag and I got 2 leashes. I'm like, Eddie, hold this one. I gave one to my son, and the other one I set down the plastic leash holder thing on the ground and I stepped my foot on it, and I went to pick up the poop. But he got excited about something and he jammed off real quick and it slipped out from under my foot. They're usually really good about it. If you say, stop right there, they'll stop. But this thing was popping on the street, right? And so he's freaking out. He's kind of running from it because, it's like pounding on the street. Not only that, but they have elastic, that's spring loaded. So it would tighten up and go hit him right in the butt. And he'd run off the floor, and he'd stretch it out when he'd run off, and it's zing, pop right in the butt again, and he'd run off again. A poor little guy just ran 1.5 blocks away before my son was able to catch him. I still feel terrible about it to this day, but that's the adventures of a dog owner, right?
My in-laws are Chihuahua lovers, and they've had them for years. And when one passes away, they'll get another. And we babysat their 2 Chihuahuas a couple of weeks ago. And I have a Shih Tzu, Nacho. So when they got together, they kind of ganged up on him, but then they became friends. Well, Nacho's known for, Shih Tzus are known for barking at absolutely nothing. That's what he does. Well, now we have these Chihuahuas. They barked at everybody, and he was barking at nothing. So that whole Saturday, that's all we heard was we took them all 3 for a walk, and they were all tangled on each other. The one Chihuahua she looks like a sausage. She's a little overweight. She just dropped herself right on the road, ready to fall asleep, and we weren't even halfway home yet. So it was an adventure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Betty has sat here before and listened to Nacho bark in the background of your videos, and she's heard of Nacho, and she said one time, "I'd like to meet Nacho," and I says, "No, you don't." I said, that's Poe's Nacho, and you know what kind of dog that's going to be. He's going to be all over you.
I'm just amazed, Greg, because that Nacho thing, that's at the end of the video. I haven't seen the end of one of Poe's videos for 18 months now because I just can't by about 4 minutes. I've had enough.
I even stick your face on there at the end just so you'll stick around. I do that little the show segment at the end with you guys all sitting there.
Well, tell them the story, Poe, about weren't you sitting at home watching one of my videos and Betty was going ape shit over something outside and started barking, and didn't she start barking the video and Nacho went nuts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He does not. He said I'm outside and he just barks at nothing. We have cats, and he's known these cats. They've been here before he was even born, and he still barks at them every day. He sees them in the house and just starts. It's like that's your cats, idiot. What are you doing there?
Exactly. Yeah. I honestly think, and I love, Kobe and Milo, my current 2 Chihuahuas, and I absolutely love the first 3. But maybe Chihuahuas just aren't that bright. I don't know. Every time the neighbor gets in his car next door, you hear the door shut and you hear beep of his alarm. And it's a very unique sounding alarm. But Kobe will run to the window and bark at him every single day. Like dude, you've lived here a year and a half now. You know him. You know the sound. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Before Nacho, we had a terrier. Dexter was his name. He was a great little dog. But this little terrier, he didn't bark at everything, but he would bark if somebody's dog was loose, the big dogs.
Sure.
He would be out there barking at them or people walking past. And we had him out one day, and there was a big dog that was loose. Dexter's barking at dude. Well, I'm thinking nothing of it. Well, the dog jumped over our fence. And next thing I know, this big pit bull was humping Dexter. Dexter he never barked at that dog again after. I'm like, see, you want to run your mouth, and you became a prison bitch, just like that. So you better watch.
If somebody would have told me before someone on this stream was going to share that story, it would have been you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we had a litter of chugs or pug wawas, whatever you want to call it, and people were like, what's that all about? I said, we had a little chihuahua. She was hoarding around with the neighbor pug. And we ended up with a mixed breed litter. Cute little dogs.
Great mix there.
Yeah. Now our current chihuahua, we're down to just the one chihuahua, and then the 2 dogs we adopted because the assholes dropped them off in the desert, 9-month-old puppies. But she's like you were saying, Poe. She's brown colored, and I call her a little Tootsie Roll because she's just round and she looks like a Tootsie Roll. That dog doesn't get excited about anything. The house could be burning down. She'd be like, whatever. I don't care. But if the big dogs come in the house and they get to nosing around her too much, then she puts them in their place and and they go hide. And then she lays down and she's like, I'm done for the day. That's my exercise. I'm good. The only other thing that gets her is when you put your socks on. If you're not in the bedroom or something, if you take care of your socks out and sit down on the living room couch, start putting your socks on, she's all up there trying to bite your hands and just she wants to play. But she's never figured out. I'll play and get her riled up sometimes, but she's never figured out actually how to bite you. She goes like this and never closes her mouth. She puts her mouth on you.
They're just playing. That's just playing.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not. I'm biting, but not biting. And but she's Kelly did say, if the cows, we have free range cows out here, and they'll come right up to our fences, and horses. There are free range cows and horses that live. There's thousands and thousands of empty acres around us, and people free range. If they get nearby, Sammy's going to eat her some cows. She's having steak tonight. The cows are funny because they'll kind of be like, they hear a dog and then they look over and they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Go about their business. But the horses will freak out actually a little bit. And then the big dogs are like, they're the opposite. They're kind of like you say Nacho is, because the big dog's like, she's barking at something. There must be something worth barking at. So then they'll start barking.
Right.
Nice guard dogs. You need the Chihuahua to lead the pack. But
I noticed Betty'd bark at nothing. Like I thought she was barking at nothing out the window, but it was always at night. Lights are dark outside, light inside. I finally realized what she was barking. She's barking at her reflection. It's dark outside, but she was barking at her reflection. And one day we got a stroller for her. We take her everywhere with us. So took her in an Old Navy store, and they got the full-length mirror. And I just wheeled her up to that mirror just real quick. And she looked at that, and she was mad as hell. Who's that Chihuahua on that stroller?
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah. Dogs are fun.
The best. They're a lot better. I like dogs a lot better than humans. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And Chihuahua, it's funny because Chihuahuas are aggressive dogs to people they don't know, to other dogs. But if they're your Chihuahua, they will love the hell out of you. And just, the first Chihuahua we ever got, little Frodo Baggins, we called it. He was 3.5 pounds, long-haired Chihuahua with Doberman Pinscher colors. And that dog would just climb up while I'm sitting on the couch, leaning back, watching, and he'd lay down right across my neck. Then he would just be cool there. But if someone that didn't know the dog would come over and say, "Oh, what a cute dog," before you could stop the dog.
My father-in-law has always had one. Even when one's passed and they get other one, there's always one that just loves my father-in-law that stays on his lap. And if you come anywhere near my father-in-law while it's there, he gets up and just starts barking like you're going to try to kill him or something. You know?
Yes.
And
Yeah, we
Kelly,
had-
I'll tell you, Kelly loves the Chihuahua. She can reach up and scratch their bellies while they're sitting there. And she gets a little saddle. She'll ride them around the yard. It's cute.
We had a family member that had one that was mean like that. I mean, it was every time. This my wife's sister's mother-in-law always carried this thing around. He went up to touch it, and just like show its teeth, ready to bite. So we determined when we got Betty that we were going to take everywhere we went.
That's great.
We were going to have her. If people say, "Can I pet your dog?" I encourage you to. Please do. You know. And so she does not bother with anybody. And a matter of fact, she's so well behaved when we're out. We made reservations at a marina over here where that buddy of mine's got that lake place. You guys know I went fishing one time, missed the show. But there's an exclusive restaurant there. And we called ahead of time. We said, we're going to be there. We're going to have our Chihuahua with us. And they said, well, if you're sitting outside on the deck, no problem. If your dog's well behaved, it's fine. When we got there, the deck was full. And they took us up to what they said, we're going to have to seat you in the main dining area, which is a big picture glass window, overlooks the lake. Awesome. Beautiful place. But I said, we've got our dog, you know, and they said, oh, that little dog's been, and he reached over and petted. He says, it's so cute. And it hadn't made a sound. You know, we went and sat in that main dining room with that dog and ate, and she laid on Cheryl's lap the whole time, just quiet as could be. Cheryl brought some of her dog food and kept sneaking it out of a little bowl that she had in front of her, and they didn't say a word. They said you can come back anytime you want.
I don't know that world, Greg. That would never happen with ours. Any of our five. That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Sammy, the one we have now, she's always been that way. Where you could come over today, having never met her, and she'd come walking up to sniff around. You could pick her up, sit down on the couch, pick her up, put her in your lap, and just pet her, and she'd be like happy as a clam. Anybody that wants to pet her, she is as far away from a Chihuahua as I've ever had a Chihuahua. And but we had a whole bunch of Chihuahuas that didn't have Frodo was by far the most aggressive one we ever had. But at one point we had 4 Chihuahuas, and they were all friendly. They would just, if you came over to our house and sat down on the floor, they'd climb up in your lap and go to sleep, having never met you before.
Hearing Greg's story like that, I saw something this morning that I've never seen before. I've seen people come in the grocery store and stuff with their support animals, you know, their dogs and stuff. This guy came in with a Great Dane into our grocery store. They're freaking huge, walking past, you know, the cupcakes and everything, but very well behaved dog. And then another thing that makes me think of Greg is when I went out to get in my car to leave, another thing I never saw here in Western Pennsylvania. Some woman is walking from her car in, she's wearing a little tiny bikini with the big Hollywood sunglasses and a little shawl and everything going in. And I see just every guy that's there turning to look at her. And there was a guy that looked just like Greg and one of them little rascals. Just, I mean, he about broke his neck looking at this woman walking in the store. But,
little buggy.
Yeah, he had the little buggy, and he'd come out and he'd stop right in the middle, staring at that.
Now, Kelly's putting in there Daisy. Daisy was a really great Chihuahua, very calm. I think that's why a bunch of our other ones. And we actually bred her and Frodo. We thought it'd be cute to have a litter. We weren't a puppy mill. We weren't pupping out. But we wanted to have, we had the kids at the house. Well, let's have a litter of puppies. And this dog, she was white with tan spots on her, kind of. Frodo had the Doberman Pinscher colors, and he was long-haired. She was short-haired. She had 6 puppies. 2 were short-haired and light-colored like her. 2 were long-haired and light-colored like her. 2 were dark-haired. They both came out with the 2 light-haired, 1 male, 1 female, nose to nose. So one came out backwards. A couple minutes later, the other came out forward. Wow. Then the long-haireds, one came out backward, the other one forward, 1 male, 1. We're like, are you sorting them?
Wow.
And then the third
That's crazy.
The same way, 1 backwards, 1 forwards, nose to nose, same colors. It's I don't know if they were twins, 3 sets of twins that, you know, because it was the strangest thing. They were like pre-sorted in her system.
Wow.
And, but
that was the name of our dash hound was Daisy, our wiener dog.
Bear was Bear, the one we kept and we just lost recently. He was one of hers, and he was the biggest of the litter. So people didn't want to buy him because he was big for a Chihuahua. And I called him Bear because he was stocky as all get out. He looked like freaking little Mike Tyson or something. And yeah, there you go.
Well, I was just going to explain this real quick. You talk about how they get along with people. That is my 7-year-old grandson. Him and his brother were both here for a week, the 4-year-old and the 7-year-old.
I love it.
That dog, from the minute they walked in the door, and you got to remember, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, these kids are a little hyper. I mean, they're wild. That dog's 1 year now. She's a little hyper. They ran around the house chasing each other and barking and having fun. And then the minute one of the kids would sit down or the dog would sit down, they'd sit down and they'd just pet each other and love on each other. And you can see they just came in one morning and woke me up. And I snapped that picture. And that dog just loved those kids. And, you know, you rarely see, I mean, she'd never met them before.
That's wild.
You know, and so that was pretty good experience with the kids. And because I worried what was going to happen. You know, they were either going to hurt the dog or she was going to hurt them. Never nipped at them or nothing. The youngest one, she's got pretty big canines. One of them reached up and the tooth. Have you ever been caught by a dog's tooth when they didn't bite you? I mean, Betty's just got those big canines. And he said, she bit me. And I just looked at it and said, no, she didn't. You rubbed your hand against her teeth. Quit crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good time. Good
Well,
time.
hey guys, I gotta actually head on. Got a very important meeting at 6, and I gotta try and eat before that. Game of Thrones comes on, so you know it's a tradition.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
catch
about
the
ready.
end-
I'm
Great
about
to
ready.
have you here again.
Yeah, catch the end of the stream because Poe here. As soon as you go, Poe's going to talk about this week's arcade console challenge.
Console challenge. Yep. And it's actually Mike's pick, I think, this week.
Mike, yeah,
what
Mike
he
picked it,
suggested.
he's not here, so but yeah, thanks for stopping by, Ed. It's always good to see you.
Yeah.
And,
Thanks, Greg, for sending me that link, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I've missed a few shows because I've been sick and had stuff going on, and then sometimes I'll admit I just.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
these guys will tell you. One time I forgot to send them the link. I mean, they were sitting there like, "Are we going to do the show tonight?" And me and Bart are sitting there. Wonder where the hell those guys are at.
right. Yeah. All right.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Ed. We'll see you next
Bye,
time.
everybody in the chat. Take it easy.
Yeah. So, do we want to talk? We want to talk about Mike's pick for the big challenge.
Yeah, and it's nice. It was good that he was able to pick because it was definitely his choice. Between him and Greg, anyway. I know because you picked last week, and I picked the 2 weeks before. I picked arcade and console challenge before, so I was hoping somebody else had an idea. And he picked Rad Racer for the NES. Now I looked; I didn't see it on the Nintendo Switch online, so I looked a few times there right before I came out here. So play it in emulation or any way you can. But Rad Racer, really fun racing game. I never played it a lot myself. This is one of those ones that I ended up getting in a lot or something at some point. So it'll be kind of new to me. But really neat little history with this game. When it came out in '87, I do remember that. It was a 3D game from Nintendo where you had the colored lenses. It came with the little 3D glasses back then. So you can play it that way or not. But everybody seems to really like this classic. So
that's Rad Racer for the NES.
yes, Rad Racer for the NES. That's what Mike suggested. So we'll go with that this week.
Excellent. Sounds
Very
good.
cool.
Rad Racer for the NES, and Derek will have that up on the Discord usually before the show's over. But he's been slacking lately, so we don't know. No, but whoa, what's up with that? What the heck?
Like Mount Rushmore of video
Yeah,
game idiots.
Greg didn't even see it. It's like, hello. Yeah.
I'm just actually, I got to admit, I'm looking now to see if I got Rad Racer on the.
Uh-oh, look out. T-Dog is, he's the ringer on this one.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you
Definitely
stick
have.
around long enough, we'll come across a game that you guys play a lot.
You'll definitely have more experience than me and Bart, especially Bart with it. So.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of it. I've never played it. Yeah, you can play like ATS. Just push that one button that makes you crash into the median. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I did a little looking up on it after that, and I remember them coming with the 3D glasses, and that was like a big deal back then. And it actually came out in Japan for the NES over there, the Famicom. They had real 3D glasses that plugged in like the Sega Master System. So it used the real 3D over there. Over here we got the red and blue lens, but that's not required for the challenge. I don't have any. Well, I probably do have 3D glasses somewhere. I'd save everything, but we'll just be playing without 3D. So my guess is you play till you die, and that's it. That's the Gaming Road Warrior for sure.
Right? Yeah. I'm sure it's the same as always. Just play one, no continues, no restarts, whatever it might have. Just play till you die. Take a picture of the screen. Even better, shoot a video.
And I'm definitely not great at racing games, so
yeah.
Except for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I used to be great at that, but my kids got older, then they whooped my butt.
Yeah. It'll be fun. So I'll make a video on it. My first play.
Yeah, I hope to see lots of videos. There's no pinball this week, so hopefully everybody gets in on the console challenge if you can.
Uh-oh. I think I'm having some issues. Everything's getting choppy on my end.
Well, you look good. Well, as good as you can look.
Yeah, don't get carried away. Almost
Kind of looks like Kratos from God of War. You need to get that little red thing down over your eye. Then you look like Kratos. You should do that.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Cannabis said 3D guys became a 3D issue of Sports Illustrated. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice. I had the ones from Freddy 3D movie for years. And like everything else, after I got married, it disappeared. I'm not saying the wife threw all my cool stuff away, but I think the wife threw all my cool stuff away.
Yeah. Hey, not to completely derail the conversation off. I'm going to jump into sports real quick. I don't watch a lot of sports, but of course, all this hoopla, look at their pun, with the Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. I have started watching some WNBA stuff to see what all this is going on. And they're in their big all-star break. There you go. There's the Rad Racer. They're in their all-star break. And last night, they did their typical for an Olympic year. The WNBA All-Stars played against the Team USA Olympic team and whooped them.
Oh, wow.
Which team should really be going to Paris for the Olympics? It's like, we're sending our second best team to compete in the Olympics. It was interesting. So, but yeah, I've been watching because of that Caitlin Clark girl, because she's been, they said, I saw a stat last year when they played in state, wherever they played, all the teams, they averaged like 4,000 people would show up to a WNBA game. This year, it's averaging between 7,000 and 8,000 if Caitlin Clark isn't playing. If she is playing, they're putting 17,000 people in the stands if she's playing. It's like they went to an away game, and the away game had to get a bigger stadium because they sold so many tickets.
Oh, wow.
It's like, so I watch. She is a great player. She's
I hadn't kept track of that. My daughter was a basketball player from elementary school clear up. And she was always a really good player, always loved that. And then after she graduated high school, we just kind of that's it, But she would do all the summer leagues and the winter leagues after the season. And she was also, she did a lot in high school, and she was also in the band, and she was a singer and a cheerleader, but she would sing the national anthem for almost every game before they went out and played.
Oh, nice.
I miss those days. For sure.
Yeah. Well, what I like about Caitlin Clark, she's a good 3-point shooter and all that stuff. And but the other day she set the not just the rookie record. She set the record in the WN, 19 assists. Plus, she scored 29 points on her own. She was responsible for like 60 something points, either directly or indirectly. But she's the type of player, she'll be dribbling down to the drive the hoop, and she'll do a behind the back pass to one of the other girls. And it's like, holy crap, we're watching some old school stuff here, you know? And, it's hard to not compare to like Larry Bird and his.
Oh, yeah. Because
Larry Bird was doing all these crazy passes. And it makes it sound racist if you say this white girl is looking like the white guy from the 80s. But it's fun to watch her because you never know. Her passes are just crazy. She did a pass the other day. It was like a full court pass almost. She got the rebound and there was someone running and she just the whole way down. Whew. It's pretty awesome.
Sorry, the whole time you're talking, I'm listening to tires are squealing or something.
Yeah. Super Mario 2 is the best Super Mario game.
Yes, I agree. That's just me. A lot of people don't agree with me, so.
She's no Bird. Well, she's still a rookie, but and no, she's no Bird. Nobody's a Bird. Bird was Bird. He's his own thing. Larry Bird is amazing. Most of the basketball I watch nowadays, well, I started watching this to see what's going on with Caitlin Clark, but other than that, most of it is young black guys that watch and think LeBron is the best guy ever, watching Larry Bird highlights. And they're like, what the hell is this white guy doing? It's like, yeah, Larry Bird was on a whole nother level. But he's up there with the greats. But I didn't want to derail it and talk. But I thought it was funny that the All-Star team beat the Olympic team. And now the Olympic team has to go. And I guess that same thing happened 4 years ago. The All-Star team beat the women's, but I didn't watch it then. But all right, T-Dog's got to go. I'm not far behind you, T-Dog. I was up early this morning. I got to work tomorrow, so we're rolling on 8 o'clock. So I'm about out of here too.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to.
Let's see. I like it because it's different, but he's a Super Mario 3. He loves them all, though. It's like your children. You can't pick a favorite.
It is. Well, I don't know why, because I was into everything Mario and NES at the time. But by the time Super Mario Brothers 3 came out, it wasn't one of those ones that I was like, I got to have it right this instant. So I don't have the same feel for it as a lot of these guys, especially, guys that were a few years younger than me, like Intellivision Gamer, Mike's Gaming Gala, they talked about that. And those guys really seemed to love that game because it was one that they had. Everybody had to have Super Mario Brothers 3 when it came out. And I actually waited on it. I actually think that I played Super Mario World on the SNES before I even played Super Mario Brothers 3. So Super Mario World on the SNES is probably my favorite all-time Mario game. And then I love Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES. But that Christmas when I got it, 1986, I got my NES, and it came with Super Mario Brothers in it. We were blown away because before that, everything for us was Atari 2600. So that Christmas morning when I played Super Mario Brothers, I'm like, holy crap. And I never played anywhere else that game in the arcade or anything like that. My oldest brother knew more about it than I did. But at that time, we were finding all those secrets and warp zones on our own before anybody was talking about them. So we're like, holy crap, you can go here, you can do this. It was just a great time to explore,
Wow. Yeah, inflation, it's crazy. But
I think G. Parker's getting a high score on Rad Racer right now.
I'm just trying to figure out the controls on it, but I think I finally figured it out. It looks like a fun game, though. I think that'll be fun. It's like we were talking about when Ed was here, first started talking about these pinball challenges and these games and playing stuff that I haven't even seen before. And it's fun to play. It's fun.
Well, and that's one of the ones I think that was in Nintendo World Championship back in the day, which the Switch just released Nintendo World Championship for the Switch here a few days ago. And the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage, I'm pretty sure Rad Racer was one of the games.
And is that one that you just mentioned that came out for Nintendo? I thought that was going to be on the expansion pack, but it's not, is it? I thought that was one.
No, you can buy it digitally. I can't remember the price. A good bit cheaper. I bought the physical because they have a fake NES card. I don't have it out here. It looks like the World Championship card, but it's gold. You know, you can display it. It came with a bunch of cards and pins in that physical edition. But yeah, it's a bunch of games, mini games, quick games. See how you can do. Actually, Sean the Great Gamer played it the other night. I watched him play. I haven't even played my own yet. But see how fast you can get this many coins, or how quick can you get the mushroom in Super Mario Brothers. You know, it's all time. But you can play at home with your family, or you can play online with it. So hopefully my son picks it up soon, and I can do some of the challenges with him. I plan on doing a video of some of the gameplay this week. You know me. It might come out a year from now. So, especially now that I have to play Rad Racer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that was a good pick on Mike's part because I like the look of that. It looks like fun.
Yeah.
Well, have we got anything else, or we want to bid farewell and meet up in the green room for a minute and finalize a couple things? And all right.
Yeah, I think I'm for that. I'm started yawning. It's the day has caught up with me over the last about 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm getting kind of tired.
Well, I'm gonna jump in real quick and do my final thoughts quick, mainly because my mind's not working good. It never has, even when I'm not sick. But I want to thank everybody for participating in the tournament so far. I want to thank everybody for playing in our little challenges. Let's see, we're on show number 65. I think that's a major accomplishment. And sure, we get to talk about anything here. Dogs, cats. No. But anyway, yeah, it's a good time, and I want to thank Ed for showing up tonight. And you should check out his channel, and he's got some good content. That's all I got, guys. So whoever wants to take it over next, go ahead, jump in there.
Yeah, well, this week I'll probably just do the challenge video and maybe some of the new Nintendo Switch Championship and Nintendo NES Championship. Aside from that, I don't really know. I haven't really planned anything.
Yeah. I'm the same as you, Poe. You said almost exactly what I was going to say. I'm get in the challenge, play that Rad Racer. No pinball this week. We're preparing for the big finals, and well, not the finals, but the playoffs will start next week. Pretty much everybody that played will be making it, except for me and Greg. So you will be in the playoffs if you played. And Brooklyn Menace shows up just in time. Cheers, brother. So get in the console challenge, NES Rad Racer, and get your scores up by midnight Eastern, midnight Pacific. We'll go Pacific because that's what we always do. I don't know why I said Eastern. So we'll go with the norm of Saturday night. Basically, I put the final spreadsheet together Sunday morning when I get up at 4:00 in the morning. So get your scores in, and we'll put the spreadsheet up, and you'll get the bragging rights for the week. And congratulations on everyone for doing great. I think we had a good time. We didn't have as many people participate this year in our pinball tournament, but the ones that did played, and we had a good time. It was good, and these challenges just keep getting better and better every week with the arcade and console challenges. The turnouts are great. The scoring is great. We're having a lot of good competition. People topping each other's scores, and then getting beat the next day, and it's great stuff. So keep playing. Get on that Discord. If you don't know how to get to our Discord by now, I don't know what you've been doing, but every one of my videos, every one of Greg's videos has a link to our Discord channel. Go on in there. Derek will make sure you're good to talk to us all, and then just get involved. Get involved.
The link is also, I've been dropping it in the description of the live stream here on my channel and Bart's channel. I'm not sure that the other guys are streaming if it's in there. It is here. It's here right now, there in the channel.
It's right there. So we'll see you in Discord. We chat about all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of different rooms, and you can hang out with Derek basement of the scoreboards. So that's all I got. I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. We've
All right, Rad Racer
already. So what else can we do?
Play it.
Play it.
That's
Rad
fun.
Racer NES. Post a picture.
Playing trucking sims. Just can't wait to play those trucking sims. The life I love is playing trucking sims with friends. And I can't wait to play those trucking sims.